Hey, welcome back. I'm Ferrikster, here to bring you some more Pokemon Go Battle League battles. These battles are practice battles, but before we do that, let's poke our heads over and take a look at the meta. This video is for the upcoming Remix Cup. What am I in the wrong window? I am, there I go. So, yeah. Great League Remix returns. This time, the top 20 Pokemon used by Ace rank trainers and above in the Great League will be ineligible. And below that is the ban list. So I think this is a lot better than the last time they did Great League Remix. I think top 10 wasn't enough, and they also picked it from everywhere. So things that nobody uses, but apparently some people do, like Raichu got banned, and that was just weird. Banning Raichu didn't change the meta. This time they are banning things that are actually used because they're picking things used by Ace rank and above. So, Venusaur, Ninetales, Marowak, Meganium, Azu, Politoed, Umbreon. You guys have eyes. You can see this list yourself. But, like, Stunfisk is banned. Azu is banned. Bastiodon is banned. Medicham. A lot of things that, all of the things that are actually meta are banned. Even favorites of mine, like Pelipper and Vigoroth are gone. So, since at least one of these Pokemon is probably on nearly every single team I've seen in a while, it's actually going to be an interesting meta because they are all banned now. They show Alolan Marowak and Alolan Ninetales and Galarian Stunfisk, but if this is anything like the last Remix Cup, you probably won't be able to use Unova Stunfisk or, Kanto Ninetales. Not that too many people use that anyway. But yeah, I think Pokemon Go probably doesn't have the technology to separate it into its Alolan and Cantonian forms. So both of them probably just going to be banned. So what does that leave us with? Well, according to PvPoke, this is their Great League Remix rankings. That just means that they have all the Pokemon that are left battling in simulations to see who wins the most matchups. And at the very top, we've got XL Diggersby. Diggersby in its XL form, well, it has to be XL regardless, but, with XL stats like, 0, 15, 15 similar, I think the rank 1 is actually a 0, 15, 11, and goes up to level 50 and a half, so it has to be best buddied also. That's a lot of expense. You can probably use the Hundo and just power it up as high as it goes, and that's probably fine. That's what I've always done with my Medicham. But if you have a top-ranked Diggersby, this is probably the best time to power it up. Registeel, that has been in raids very recently. Mandibuzz, always accessible. Lickitung is pretty inaccessible, unless you have a DFit, or unless you use DFit and or have a phone rocker. Would be difficult to get an XL Lickitung with like XL stats, because that's a lot of XL candy for something that's not that accessible. Cresselia, Nidoqueen is actually really accessible. Regirock, Whiscash, Wobbuffet, Chansey. Shadow Machamp, everyone can have. Zweilous is kind of an interesting pick. Jellicent, I actually made my Dex Jellicent finally for these practice battles that I'm about to show you. Steelix is listed kind of high here, but I used it and I did not care for it. It charges very, very slowly, and it does not have Galarian Stunfisk's bulk, even though it has its typing. I think Steelix is just a really bad Galarian Stunfisk. A lot of people will have one because they've done Sylph in the past. There were a lot of cups back in the day where Steelix was like a top pick, and it was actually pretty good back then because the field was so narrow and some of those metas were so condensed. Pachirisu, which very few people have, cast form. Abomasnow, XL Sableye. I've started using a regular non-XL Sableye towards the end of my practice matches, and I actually liked it a lot. I think it plays pretty well in this meta. Machamp, Wigglytuff, finally a Charmer. Those apparently are not going to be that popular. Regular and Shadow, Abomasnow, Beedrill, Zapdos is here. Stunfisk is here listed at number 26, but like I said earlier in the video, I don't think you'll actually be able to use Stunfisk. I think it'll end up being banned. Lucario is up here, which is nuts. Primeape, Rainy Cast form. Tropius. Frostlass is listed as number 32, but I think it's actually going to be pretty strong. If you can manage your energy really well, I think that Frostlass is the top pick. Obstagoon, which always catches me off guard because I have never made one, and I'm just never ready for it. And I encountered an Obstagoon at some point in my practice matches, and they were kind of rough. I'm not sure if that is in this video or in the next one. I'll probably release a second one. I don't know, 12 hours from now or something. Maybe after Battle Night. Other stuff. Honestly, everything even down here still has some play. Like the Pokemon that are so dominating in normal GBL, them being gone just leaves room for so many things. A Scavalier, for instance, is down here at number 58. We all know I like a Scav. And I'm not even sure why a Scav is listed all the way down at 58. If I go back to the top, whoops, can't scroll from there. Go back up to the top. Has play against Diggersby, although Fire Punch, kind of does a lot. Can beat Registeel. Has play against Mandibuzz, because, everything that you're throwing hits for neutral, and they're not hitting you for super effective either. You beat Lickitung, like Body Slam Power, both resisted. Completely destroy Cresselia. You basically wall Cresselia's energy. You can beat Nidoqueen, you can beat Regirock. Like, you can beat so many things up here with this Scavalier. I'm not sure why it's rated so low. It's kind of just me venting. I'm upset that this Scav is so far down. But, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much the meta. And let's tab over and actually take a look at some of the battles that I did. So we can see some of these Pokemon and how they are interacting. This is my first battle up here. I built my XL Diggersby. Unfortunately, I forgot to change its move. I'm using Quick Attack and Hyper Beam. And yeah, so let me just leave that battle and change those moves and hop back in. Because that's not how that was supposed to go. We decided, we'll just go same team after I TM'd my Pokemon. So I win the lead here. Diggersby absolutely destroys Nidoqueen. He switches into Mandibuzz, and I respond by sending in my own Nidoqueen. The team that I ran here actually doesn't have an amazing answer to Mandibuzz. It can't really do that much with Cresselia or Diggersby or, Nidoqueen. Everything here actually just barely loses. So actually, it probably would have been better to leave Diggersby in for a little, maybe throw 1 or 2 Fire Punches and then switch out to Nidoqueen. But I was figuring, you know what, I'll send Nidoqueen in and I'll just debuff it, and hopefully with the Poison Jabs, it'll be enough. So I let my opponent sneak in a Snarl there, which is not great. I am going to shield this Foul Play so that I can reach another move. Here I let him sneak in another Fast Move. I don't know why my Fast Move denial was terrible, but because I let him sneak in both of those, he can shield, and he's already at another move. If he wasn't at Snarl already, that Poison Jab plus another one would have taken him out before he was able to reach his next Foul Play. So I actually would have been able to win switch there if I just Fast Moved it denied a little bit better or used less risky Fast Move timing. So I bring Diggersby back in, and I have decided to Mud Shot down. I'm just going to end with 100 energy, and hopefully that will have some utility against whatever turns out to be not Nidoqueen, because I know Nidoqueen will not come out against loaded Diggersby. It turns out to be Obstagoon. I throw my Earthquake right away, build up to my next Earthquake, and then switch out to Cresselia to try to catch this Cross Chop. Unfortunately, I ended up catching a Night Slash, so that's not great. And my Cresselia is actually running Confusion. I prefer that over Psycho Cut because I like the chip damage that you can do with Confusion. You can Confusion down a lot more things than you can Psycho Cut down. So I am going to shield this, and it turns out to be a Poison Fang. That's unfortunate. And he's throwing again right away, so this is just another Poison Fang. I was surprised by the Poison Fang. I really thought I was going to get hit with the Earth Power instead, but that's all right. Obstagoon comes back out, and I'm probably not going to survive 2 counters to get to my next charge move, or to get to my next Moonblast, so I just throw the Grass Knot and then switch out to Diggersby, which had an Earthquake ready, and throw that Fire Punch and managed to take that first game. If you don't count the very first game where I resigned because I had Quick Attack and Hyper Beam on my Diggersby. Strangely enough, Quick Attack Hyper Beam Diggersby is actually a lot better than other Diggersbys against Mandibuzz. But the best moveset for Diggersby into Mandibuzz is Mud Shot Hyper Beam. So don't run either of those, but keep it in mind. So I switch into Beedrill, and my opponent swaps into Jellicent. I'm going to reach this next Drill Run. And this is going to just barely not KO. I thought it was going to. It's so close, but I was just one fast move off from being able to flip that. I send out my Shadow Charizard, whom I have swapped into having Dragon Breath. Not specifically for this cup. It was for another reason, which I guess maybe I'll make a video about someday. My opponent sends out Frostlass, and I immediately regret having Dragon Breath on my Charizard. If I had Fire Spin, this matchup would be dominating for Charizard. I'm going to throw this Dragon Claw, and I'm going to switch out to try to catch the, what's that called? The Avalanche, but my opponent was not throwing right there. I thought I was getting a desynced CMP tie, so I end up having to eat the Shadow Ball on my Jellicent, and that's not great. Obstagoon comes back out. I'm going to throw this Bubble Beam and debuff him. And this Obstagoon could farm me the whole way down, but opts to not bother and save some time and just throw the Night Slash. Takes out my Jellicent, and now I bring in my Charizard. This Obstagoon is already at another move, and he is going to outpace me to his next Night Slash, so I am doing decent damage with my Dragon Breaths, but this Dragon Claw wouldn't KO from here anyway. But that's alright, my opponent still has a shield, gets the shield, and he is at his next move and takes me out, so GG. Yeah, Shadow Charizard is in the rankings, but it's all the way down at number like 80 something or 100 or something. It's not amazing for this cup. Not that it's well rated for regular Open Great League either, and I've made it work there. But yeah, didn't quite get that this time. So I lose lead quite severely. Gonna switch into my Machamp. I was able to get in like 2 counters against Obstagoon, which really helps. And my opponent brings out Jellicent, so that's okay. If this is a Shadow Ball, it will take me out, but if it's just a Bubble Beam, I would survive it, and that's unfortunate because that's what it is. So this is coming out too fast to not be a Bubble Beam, so I can definitely no shield here. That puts me pretty low, but it's going to be a lot of farm for them to farm down. My fast move timing is not perfect here, so I'm going to throw this Rock Slide, and because I'm double debuffed, and I'm not going to be able to reach another Rock Slide because my fast move timing was not as good as it could have been. I'm going to send Frostlass out, and my Frostlass has not really much play against Obstagoon, so I opt to just let that go. And now I send out my Lucario, and he switches in his Obstagoon. So I am going to have to shield here, because if this is a Cross Chop, it would take me out. But I think this Obstagoon might be running Hyper Beam, because this is the second time I have him Cross Chopped. And it's a Nidoqueen in the back. So yeah, the thing about Lucario, I know it's not that low in the rankings, but Lucario is very, very squishy. I'm going to be able to survive this Poison Fang because I double resist Poison, being a Steel type. And I was going to try to build up some extra energy since I have immunity tier resistance to these Poison Jabs, but it's just not enough because Lucario is just that much of a squish. And Jellicent's just going to come out and hex me the rest of the way down. Have a move ready for Frostlass, who could have been hexed down anyway. Maybe should have shielded the Shadow Ball from Jellicent earlier. But I don't know, that was really, really bad alignment. I got completely team comped in that match. But alright, next up, against No Treble Clef. Opening Steelix into Abomasnow. So I thought I had an advantage when I saw this, because, you know, Stunfisk can beat Abomasnow pretty handily, but Steelix does not have anywhere near as good moves as Stunfisk. I have Crunch and Earthquake along with Dragon Tail. Dragon Tail has been buffed, but it's still not amazing, and it charges pretty slowly, and Steelix's moves are not that inexpensive. So I get a shield from that Crunch, and my opponent switches out to Lickitung to try to catch. I'm going to go for the Earthquake, and I don't quite make it. That was a terrible play by me. If I lose this match, it's all just bad play. But that's all right. This is why we do practice matches, to try to get a feel for the Pokemon that we've got. So I no shield on my Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff can survive 3 Body Slams, but just barely. I know this because I've played this matchup before. Actually, maybe I'm thinking of Snorlax. So since I can see that I might not survive the 3rd Body Slam, I decided to throw my Ice Beam here, which may be a mistake. Probably should have just shielded once and charmed it down. I was already ahead. Bringing out my Shadow Charizard, trying to make it work again, this time against a Nidoqueen. I am going to be double shielding because the Poison Jabs do so much damage that if I no shield even the first Poison Fang, I'll get poison jabbed down too early to be able to get enough done. Like, it looks like I'm just barely not able to make it. Oh my gosh, I was like at the Dragon Claw. But yeah, forced to shield here. My opponent is BMing me with the Earth Power. I'm pretty sure the poison jab would have taken me out from there. And Abomasnow comes back out and weather balls me down. So yeah, GG. Probably should have, maybe it would have been a different game if I had just thrown the crunch with my Steelix. But yeah, that's not what happened, and that's all right. So next up, Jellicent in Machamp. I am team comping my opponent for once. Jellicent has a pretty good matchup against Machamp, but it's not, I mean, if Machamp is carrying Payback for whatever reason, then yes, that will wreck. And since I got baited in the last game against the other person, I decided, you know what, maybe that's the way I'm supposed to play this out. So just going to Bubble Beam bait, debuff them once, and I'm going to shield here because I was concerned that it might be a Payback. You never know. When you're running practice battles, some people will bring in weird things just to throw you off. I land the Shadow Ball and take out Machamp, and there's a Drifblim back there. So if I had thrown one extra Hex before I Shadow Balled, I would be in a much better spot right now. As it is, Drifblim wins CMP, so I'm going to shield here. Thankfully, it's the Shadow Ball. It doesn't bait me. And I'm going to throw my own Shadow Ball, also not baiting. And I get the last shield. So we're going to reach our next Shadow Ball at the same time. So I'm going to switch out and try to catch it. And I don't, because he switches out to his own Nidoqueen to catch my Shadow Ball at the exact same time. So my Nidoqueen, I guess, just wins CMP. So I'm able to land this Earth Power first, and that is huge in this matchup. So Drifblim comes back out, and he can't actually throw a Shadow Ball and have another Shadow Ball loaded. So if he does not end with a Shadow Ball ready, Jellicent can come out and Shadow Ball right off the bat and take him out. Although from this health range, even a Bubble Beam would probably be enough. And I still have his Cavalier in the back, who gets kind of completely walled by Drifblim. So this matchup was actually closer than it looked. But I'll just shrug and say, yes, I destroyed him in that game. But again, it was a lot of that came down to team composition. All right, next up, I'm opening Wigglytuff into Diggersby. So this is an XL Diggersby. No Trouble tells me that this is actually the Hundo, or a near Hundo that is powered up as high as it goes, not actually an XL stat. So it could be slightly thicker than this, but I'm not sure if that would hit any additional bulk points. If anything, maybe it would take an extra charm or two to take out. But I don't think it would be that impactful. I end up correctly shielding the first move, which turned out to be the Earthquake, so that's fine. I'm going to no-shield the second one. Turns out to be an Earthquake, and I get to find out how much the Earthquake does to Wigglytuff, because I definitely didn't know that off the top of my head before. I'm going to let this go, since this will leave the Diggersby kind of energy drained, and I'm going to bring in a Scavalier and farm down, feeling very confident that he wasn't going to be able to reach another Fire Punch. And there's a Nidoqueen back there, so that is not an Escavalier counter. So when I see that, I immediately know that, you know what, I'm going to have to hang on to a Scavalier, so I am going to shield. My opponent probably knows that. So I'm going to end up shielding this first move, and it turns out to be the Poison Fang bait, so that's not great for me, but it's okay. And then he catches the Drill Run on his XL Lickitung. This Lickitung is actually XL, from what I understand. So I'm going to throw some counters, and I switch out before I can get hit with a Body Slam, because since I've already had my defense debuffed, I don't think I would survive another one. And I'm pretty sure I'll be able to outspeed, what's it called? Outspeed Nidoqueen as long as I can, you know, as long as he doesn't manage to farm Diggersby down. But it would be pretty tough to farm Diggersby down. I resist the poison jabs. And an Earthquake will definitely take Nidoqueen out, so he has to throw here. So this is going to be the Earth Power. It will take me out. But that's all right. I can bring in a Scavalier and just get to this Drill Run and manage to take Nidoqueen down. Escavalier, I definitely think will be a nice sleeper pick. I like it a lot for this meta, and I have a pretty good Great League Escavalier, I think minus rank 5 or something. So, next up against J. Robin Stacks. Shout out to JRS, by the way. He just reached the point of Twitch partner. I have not gotten there yet, but yeah, fantastic streamer. Should definitely go and check him out on Twitch. So, switch in my Golbat. Oh no, sorry, I led Golbat. My opponent switched in Mantine, and I switch out to Nidoqueen, which is not a Mantine counter. This Mantine is actually running Wing Attack, which is kind of unusual. Missed opportunity. I could have thrown my poison jab there. I'm going to end up shielding here, and it is a bubble beam, so now I'm debuffed. So I really, really should have thrown my poison fang earlier. I also let him sneak in an extra wing attack, so that does not help either. Land that poison fang, and I'm able to poison jab my Mantine down, and now I'm really low, so I at least can't be farmed down that much. Machamp comes out. I'm going to throw this poison fang right away. And unfortunately, he's only going to get maybe 1 or 2 counters, just 1 counter. So this Machamp doesn't have a lot of energy. I bring in Golbat, Machamp switches out, and there's a Mandibuzz in here. So I'm going to throw this Poison Fang. And I have a Diggersby in the back, and I switch to my Diggersby here, and that is a not great decision. But I didn't want Diggersby to get stuck against Machamp. So I'm going to throw my Fire Punch. And I'm going to be able to throw a second one before it's time to start building up a ton of energy. Our our switch clocks are completely desynced right now. He is quite a bit ahead of me. And if Machamp comes out and farms down Diggersby, I'll be super, super dead. So I need to start building up a bunch of energy here. I'm throwing my Fire Punch. And after this Fire Punch, all I need to do is throw one more, even if he switches out right away, which is what I anticipated. I can throw another Fire Punch here. Should have thrown one more Mud Shot before I did that, so I wouldn't have had to take that Fire Punch down, that 1 counter of damage, and now I can bring out Golbat. And I'm going to have to eat this Cross Chop. And again, if I had thrown one more Mud Shot with Diggersby before I threw my first Fire Punch, then that Machamp would have had 1 less counter of energy, and this Mandibuzz would... Well, nothing really would have changed with the Mandibuzz. But, you know, would have had 1 less counter, so this Golbat would be a little bit healthier, and Diggersby also would have 1 counter's worth of health more. So definitely did not play this out as well as I could have. Golbat does not survive that foul play. And this Mandibuzz is single debuffed, but, I mean, it's not like my Mud Shots are going to be doing more damage, and he has saved both of his shields. So I'm trying to get these Mud Shots in. I mean, you can't really Mud Shot faster, but I'm just trying to do all the damage as fast as I can. I'm going to reach this next Fire Punch here. My fast move timing is not perfect here. I probably should be trying to fast move deny and line up my fast moves perfectly, but I'm not able to reach another Fire Punch. Looks like I wouldn't have been able to reach it anyway, and Mandibuzz is just barely able to take me out. Super, super close game there in Game 1 against JRS. All right. Next up, Jellicent into Ferrothorn. So I am completely team comped here. Ferrothorn absolutely destroys Jellicent. I'm going to stay in, though, because, I mean, Wigglytuff also is going to get really, really destroyed by Ferrothorn. So I'm going to eat the first Power Whip, and I'm going to throw this Shadow Ball. Hopefully he no-shields, and he does, so that goes through. Maybe it would have been better for me if he had shielded, I don't know. I'm going to be able to just barely reach this next Shadow Ball before he is able to Bullet Seed me the whole way down. Could have thrown a Mirror Shot to take me out earlier and save himself a shield, but decided to just build up energy instead, and that's fine. So now I'm going to send out Machamp, and he insta-swaps to Frostlass, so this is not that bad. Like, Frostlass single resists my counters, but they still do quite a lot. I'm going to go straight for the Rock Slide here so I can take his last shield or take him out. And now I'm going to switch into my Wigglytuff and try to Charm the whole way down. So, gonna shield this first move, which will definitely be an Avalanche. Not like I was able to catch a... well, it's not like I would have been able to catch a Shadow Ball no matter what. Avalanche takes out Machamp anyway. No shield the second Avalanche. And I could shield here and have a charge move ready to nuke something, but I decided to just let Wigglytuff go and save 1 shield for Machamp because I really don't know what's in the back yet. But I do know that the Ferrothorn has a move ready. So, sneak in a counter, which definitely helps. I'm going to shield this because anything will kill me, and it's the Power Whip, not the Mirror Shot. So, possibly he was running, what's that other move? Flash Cannon, and there's a Pelipper in the back, which is a banned Pokemon. You're not allowed to use Pelipper. I don't know why he brought Pelipper in. I caught him while he was out going for a jog. Like, I literally just went into a stream and was like, yeah, I need Remix Cup practice battles. No one's coming through on Twitter. Oh, if you would like to do practice battles with me, not just for fun, just when I need to make content. This is a me thing for me. Please follow me on Twitter because that's usually where I will go and post things like I need Remix Cup battles, somebody come through. Or you can go and join my Discord server, which is highly disorganized and completely nonsensical, and I can also maybe, you know, get you through there. But yeah, so into this game, I swapped my Lapras in. This is my Shadow Water Gun Lapras that I used to use all the time in Kanto Cup. I'm going to throw this Surf against this Registeel, and I'm just barely not able to Water Gun the rest of the way down. I have to no-shield this. Thankfully, it was just a Flash Cannon, so it does not KO. Focus Blast would have KO'd me. So it's a good thing JRS didn't bait the first time. I'm able to reach this next Surf. I'm going to throw this and do pretty decent damage against the Hypno, and my opponent still has 2 shields, so that's fine. I'm going to send in Wigglytuff, who doesn't care if the opponent has shields or not. So this is an okay position. I'm going to no shield, take this Thunder Punch. And I insta-swapped out to my Nidoqueen, but there's a Jellicent back there, and even worse, this Jellicent is running Bubble. So I am going to throw this Earth Power. I figured there was no way he would shield the first one because, you know, one of the easiest ways to get ahead here would be to throw the Poison Fang bait. I no-shield the Shadow Ball, which is also a mistake. And now I'm going to be able to just throw this Poison Fang, but he's going to know it's a Poison Fang. He's definitely not going to shield that. I'm going to bring Wigglytuff back out. If this Jellicent had Hex, oh my gosh, this would be a lot better for me, but it is not running the recommended moveset, and that's just pretty unfortunate for my Wigglytuff. Switch out and I'm able to charm down the Hypno, which doesn't really help me at all. Ended up taking 1 Confusion of damage. I'm going to have to shield this Bubble Beam, but my charms are doing less and less and less. I should have stayed in and shouldn't have swapped out right away. And I'm just barely not able to get there. Still, if he was 1 more bubble behind, I would have been able to charm him down, but didn't quite make it, and JRS takes me out there in game 3. GG. All right, next up, against Heisenberg. Opening Shadow Shiny Pinsir into my Golbat. So that is unfortunate team comp. Switches into his Lapras, and this is a Shadow Water Gun Lapras, the one that I'm so fond of. So I don't really need to worry about switch advantage too much here, but looking at how much damage that Surf did, I probably should have just shielded it, because now I'm going to be throwing this Drill Run, but he's going to end up taking me out. Like, it would have been fine to shield here. And, you know, force my way into switch advantage. I'm going to end up having to shield once regardless because Lapras is going to reach another Surf, and Shadow Lapras's Surfs, they hurt. Especially when you're a Golbat, which is not a particularly tanky Pokemon, although it is a little thicker than you would think. And, right, there's a Hypno back there. So, I have built up to tons of energy. I'm going to throw this Poison Fang. I get the last shield, so that's nice. Switch to my Sableye to transfer that last Confusion of damage, and Pinsir comes back out. I'm going to throw this Foul Play here, not quite early enough. I will take neutral damage from X-Scissor, being half Dark and half Ghost, but I opt to shield it anyway because it's not like Hypno can do a ton of damage to Sableye regardless. Hypno comes back out, and I just need to reach this Foul Play. And I think this might even take Hypno out from here. This is a Shadow Hypno after all, and I should take that out. So yeah, triple Shadow, triple Shiny team from Heisenberg. Shout out to Heisenberg. All right, Cresselia into Machop. This is a Pokemon that no one will use. I don't know why he's running Machop. Well, I know why he's running Machop because he has a Hundo Shadow Machop, and just for whatever reason would rather leave it as a Machop and max it out for Great League rather than using it for Masters as a Hundo Max Machamp. Heisenberger would really advise you to just, I mean, he's a legend also, so I'm sure he knows what he's doing. I can't wrap my head around what he's doing, but I'm sure he does. So Machop comes back out, which I knew was going to happen against my cast form. I'm going to throw this Energy Ball. This would probably take Machop out from here because Machop, oh, never mind, it definitely won't. Karate chops me the rest of the way down, and Cresselia is going to come back out. I get into Confusion, and it's not like Machop knows payback or anything, so I'm going to no-shield here. It is the Cross Chop. It does nothing. Cresselia is a really, really tanky Pokemon, and there's a Registeel on the back, so that's fine for me. I'm just going to send out Diggersby. In the 2-shield, I think Diggersby would probably win going straight Earthquake, maybe? But actually, I think because I let this Registeel get some energy advantage, get a shield. And yeah, I'm just going to end up going straight Fire Punch. I'm not even building up to the Earthquake. I figured Fire Punch would be the safer way because with all the Mud Shots I'm going to have to throw in the 2-shield, 2 Fire Punches will be sufficient. And I felt like it was better to just consistently either go straight Earthquake or straight Fire Punch, and I decided to go straight Fire Punch, anticipating he was going to end up switching out and catching something at some point. Because if I went straight Earthquake and he double shielded and then caught the third Earthquake on Machop, would probably beat me, I think. I don't know. Might not have been enough, because, I mean, I do have a Cresselia, and Cresselia is pretty bad against Registeel, but it's not... I was going to say it's not that bad against Registeel, but it's that bad against Registeel. Cresselia is really, really bad against Registeel. It's very bad. But all right, managed to take that game 2. On into game 3. Sableye into Mandibuzz. This is a really, really bad lead for me. And looking at the rest of my team, Golbat also pretty bad against Mandibuzz. I'm going to send out a Scavalier. And I didn't want to throw because I figured he was going to try to catch something at some point. I am going to throw the Drill Run here. If I had thrown the Mega Horn, that might have made my life a little bit easier. I'm going to throw the second Drill Run. And if he shields this, then it will have been better to have thrown the Mega Horn. It can do more damage. And would it be able to counter down a lot easier? I'm going to no-shield here. The Mud Bomb will just barely not take me out, whereas if I do shield, you know, he'll have to throw more Mud Shots, and then another Mud Bomb would take me out anyway. So better to no-shield that, and he's forced to throw a second Mud Bomb to prevent me from getting to another Drill Run. So now this Whiscash doesn't have too much energy. I send out my Sableye because I think Golbat will have a better matchup against Mandibuzz. And I'm going to no-shield here when Mandibuzz comes out. Throws the Aerial Ace, which is the wrong move. Foul Play would be a little bit better. I think he probably just forgot which side each one of those were on because, you know, he came out and insta-threw. I switch into Golbat right away, throw my Poison Fang as soon as I can. And yeah, I'm going to shield here because I don't really need to shield too much against Whiscash. If Whiscash is going to Blizzard my Golbat, it'll take me out, and that's just what's going to happen. Going to throw this next Poison Fang also as quickly as I can because I want to debuff him so I can Wing Attack down before he gets to another move. Managed to do that, and there's a Melmetal back there. So that is pretty bad for Golbat. I'm not even at a Shadow Ball yet, but I am throwing my Poison Fang here, hoping that maybe he lost count, because he was already at a Rock Slide, and I switched out right away to try to catch that Rock Slide on my Sableye. Gonna throw this Foul Play. I get the last shield. I still have a shield, and since I managed to take out the Mandibuzz, this isn't really that bad anymore. I'm gonna no-shield the first Rock Slide. Whiscash comes out, and I end up having to shield this Mud Bomb. Probably should have shielded against the Melmetal, but I had forgotten that Whiscash had another Mud Bomb stored. Whiscash's Mud Bombs come out so fast. So I'm going to land that Foul Play, and I'm going to be able to Shadow Claw the whole way down if he doesn't throw something. He throws here at the very last second, but at this point Melmetal is already too low. And yeah, Golbat comes out, and I'm able to just Wing Attack the rest of the way down. I managed to take that third game. GG. All right, next up, against 35 the Game Junior. Escavalier into Tropius. So this looks like it would not be a great matchup, but I mean, the Tropius is throwing Razor Leaf, so that is a lot better for me. Escavalier double resists the Razor Leaves, and yeah, my opponent is staying in. Not too sure why, but that kind of says to me that he is at least one of the Pokemon in the back is pretty weak to Escavalier. So I'm going to no-shield his first move, and it is a Leaf Blade bait. Could have thrown the Aerial Ace. That would hit me for neutral and do a lot more. Not quite able to counter the rest of the way down, and I don't want to be so low that I will be insta-dying to something if, you know, something comes out and uses a counter, so I decide to shield the next move since I have so much energy banked up. So it's a Munchlax. All right, I'm going to throw this Drill Run first. Probably should have just gone straight Mega Horn. I get a shield, so that's helpful. And I'm going to counter up to past the Mega Horn a little bit before I throw this next Drill Run. I get this next shield. So if I can reach the Mega Horn here, fantastic, but I don't quite get there. I was expecting to at least get that last Drill Run, but I just barely got licked down right before I got it out. I'm going to send out Nidoqueen, and he responds by switching into Dugong. So that is okay for me. Dugong's energy doesn't really have anywhere to go into Jellicent. I switched out earlier than I should have. Probably would have been better for me to throw a Poison Jab, or to throw a Poison Fang first to debuff him before I switch into Jellicent. Because since Dugong is going to debuff Jelly so fast, I am not going to be able to take it out with just 2 Shadow Balls. He'll end up being very, very low but surviving. Throw my Shadow Ball there. I let him sneak in an Ice Shard, so that's unfortunate. Land the Shadow Ball, and yeah, Dugong very much survives. I build up extra energy, and now I'm going to throw my Bubble Beam. I know this Munchlax already has a ton of energy because it licked a Scavalier the whole way down. Switch into Nidoqueen, and if this is a Bulldoze, it will hurt a lot, but won't KO, so I no-shield the first move, and it is just the Body Slam bait. Gonna throw this Poison Fang quickly so that I can Poison Jab the rest of the way down. Munchlax almost gone. Would make sense to just throw the Bulldoze here, but it's just another Body Slam. I know he has the energy. I don't know why I was doing that. And yeah, Dugong comes back out. I am going to no-shield here. The Icy Wind will not quite take me out, and I'm able to throw this Poison Fang and just barely manage to take out this Dugong. So GG to my opponent. Alright, next up into game 2 against 35. Shadow Golbat into Registeel. This is a really, really bad lead for Golbat. I switch out right away to Machamp, get in like 1 or 2 counters, so that helps, and then my opponent switches out into Sableye, which is kind of rough for me. I'm going to throw the Rock Slide, hoping to win switch advantage, and he no-shields. So what am I going to do here? No-shield, hoping that it's the foul play? It is the foul play, but it still takes me out anyway. Oh my gosh, Shadow Machamp is just that squishy. If I had known I would have fought for switch advantage. This is not a great position. So my Golbat has like 3 wing attacks of energy, no, 2 wing attacks of energy. Registeel comes back out. I'm kind of not in an amazing position here. I am going to shield the first move. I decided to shield at the very last second. I'm going to throw this Shadow Ball here. I wasn't too sure how much the Shadow Ball from Golbat would do. I remembered how much it did to Bastiodon, and it's a lot more than that, but not nearly enough. And then I'm going to switch out to my Sableye, because this Registeel is kind of in Shadow Claw range, sort of. I shield the next Flash Cannon since my opponent didn't switch out right away. I know he doesn't have a hard counter to Sableye. And now I'm throwing my Foul Play probably a little bit too early, and there is a Hypno in the back. So that's fantastic. Sableye is down 2 shields and doesn't really have much of an energy advantage, but Sableye has a dominating matchup against Hypno. My opponent does not throw their charge move right away, so I'm able to get this next Foul Play out. It was a CMP tie. If this is a Shadow Ball, I think I barely survive. Yes, I do. I switch out into Golbat. I should have just thrown my Poison Fang right away. I don't know why I'm doing this. I lost track of energy somewhere. I think my opponent snuck in a confusion and managed to take out my Golbat. If I had thrown the Poison Fang, I would have won this game. I have no idea why I didn't throw that. That's just not counting carefully enough. So, into game 3. We are 1-1. Diggersby into Zweilous. So, first Zweilous I've encountered. My opponent switches out right away to Scolipede. I asked him why he did that later, and it was because he thought that, for whatever reason, he thought Diggersby learned counter and thought that it had counter. He was at a friend's house, so not as focused as he could have been either. But alright, I end up switching my Frostlass into Scolipede, and I forget what Scolipede's other move is, but I'm pretty sure that it's supposed to be Sludge Bomb and X-Scissor. I decide to shield here regardless, and it's just another X-Scissor bait. So throw this Avalanche because at this point I'm low enough that if I get hit with a Sludge Bomb, I'm pretty sure that would take me out or put me in farm down range. Manage to take Scolipede out. Zweilous comes back out. I'm able to get to this Avalanche before he reaches his Body Slam. I was going for, not quite a CMP tie, but trying to throw just before he reached it. And he's not going to be able to Dragon Breath me the whole way down. Good counting on my opponent. Going to throw the Body Slam here. I am going to no-shield it. I could have shielded and then taken out Zweilous, but I figured, you know what? Diggersby should be okay against Zweilous anyway, so let's save a shield because you never know what could be in the back. Take that Body Slam, no problem. It was a CMP tie, but I'm not going to undercharge because he would just switch out and still have his Zweilous left over in the back. No reason to undercharge that. And there's a Nidoqueen back there, so this is fine. My opponent throws before he's even at 8, so this can't be an Earth Power. I'm going to no-shield the Poison Fang. Throw this Earthquake, and yeah, find out that from an XL Diggersby, mine is as thick as it gets. It is the XL rank 1, so it has the lowest attack it can have. The Earthquake will still one-shot the Nidoqueen. Good to know. And yeah, that is why we do this kind of practice battles, so we can get a feel for what all the Pokemon do. So I got more responses than I needed for practice battles, so I'm probably going to try to release another practice battles video before the thing drops. It drops in, well, about 24 hours from now. So by the time this video uploads, it'll be about 23 hours from the time this video uploads is when Remix Cup will drop. Good luck, everyone, on Go Battle Night. Thank you all for watching. I will catch you on the next one.